let's see if we can probably make this quick. I forgot to turn on the little. I don't own rights to these musics, so if you hear music in the background, I do not own rights. It's just meditation music. I need to listen to it. Let me type it in honestly. Who the hell? Anyway, so peoples, I'm sorry. I was supposed to talk about this a few weeks ago, but unfortunately, yours truly was suffering from jet lag. Damn. I'll explain that in a minute. And last week, of course, the Oscars. I don't even watch the Oscars. Well, your daughter is writing letters to a dead man. You should have dropped your family a long fucking time ago. I mean, I've had my situations with being I'm gonna say it. I've had my situations with being simpish, but even that's crossing the fucking line. Even for a dude like me, back in my simp days like that. That's crossing the line. The shit Jada's done, crossing the line. Ancient Egyptian meditation. Damn it. But yeah, yes, finally. Thank you. Like I said, if you hear these music, this is me to try to calm down. I do not own rights to this music. So do not copy strike me, you bastards. I hate YouTube infomercials. Anyway, let me back up a little bit so y'all can see me. So, it goes like this, y'all. Perfect. So, let me break this down. So this is me journey to the motherland. First off, like I said, I've been back for a few weeks, but I was suffering from jet lag, which is the time zone difference. Because Ethiopia is ahead, especially since now daylight savings happened. But when I left, Ethiopia was ahead by 8 hours. So like when we was getting on a plane and stuff like that, the sun was only up for like 4. It was amazing too to fly on that plane like that. But and it's just because we was leaving when it was raining, and as soon as we get in the sky, I'm like, wait, why is it so bright and sunny that quick? I look, we above the clouds. Look, the sun right there. That was cool. I was like, oh, hello, Rob. Atin. Anyway, so here's the thing. I got there fine. I guess when I was flying back, when it was time for me to leave, my body wasn't readjusting, and yeah, the time zones outrunning the sun, and at the same time the moon's right there too, and the sky's blue and black and all that. So when I got back to the States, I was cool for a few hours till I got home. Then the diarrhea came. And I've talked to people, they said that was gonna happen. It wasn't just that, it was also vomiting. It was dizziness. I couldn't remember a lot of things. I was like, what's going on? Everybody said it's jet lag. Because I remember I couldn't have came back if I didn't have passed my COVID test. So I passed another COVID test. Jet lag kicked my ass. So it's probably why I'm sorry why it took so long. Now y'all saw that I did like a short and a quick small video of the Will and Jada situation. That's another reason why I didn't talk about this right now. Bullshit. But anyway, so this actually goes back to 2010. Now I could go back years ago when I was a kid, little boy, running around in a little Power Ranger outfit. And then when I wasn't watching Power Rangers, me and my brother was watching Bruce Lee movies and Kung Fu movies with our pop. And then we wasn't doing that. we would once in a blue moon with the whole family see Shaka Zulu running around. From the miniseries. So 2010, I gotten back into shape, turned my life around because I was starting to go down a bad path. I remember seeing the movie Undisputed 3 and being fascinated with Turbo and this weird fighting style. I'm like, he's got a weird style of boxing. Come to find out it was called 52 Blocks. Researched 52 Blocks. Looked up the origins of it and came across its roots. The roots of it being from the African American slaves, fighting styles that they created. And I'll get to that in a little bit. You're gonna get it real soon. But 52 Blocks is rooted in arts like Lam, Dambe, things like that. And for years I've been studying African traditional combat systems. Because I had to understand how we created our systems here during slavery, and then post-slavery, as part of our culture, that's kind of got fucked up thanks to media. And then the culture we come from. Now, in the years coming, recently, as of 2020, I started to really discover old school boxing. And you could think Death Battle for that one, Balrog versus TJ Combo. And when I saw their fight, I was like, TJ Combo's a boxer. Why does that boxing style look familiar? You know what I'm saying? He was punching, but he was also throwing people in a weird shoot, toss, and kicking. I was like, wait a minute, this is familiar. It's like 52 Blocks, but it's not. But I couldn't put my finger on it. So then I did research into it, discovered the art of cutting, or as we know it in the slave times, mandingo. And for all those that are going to say blah, 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 I will do videos on this. The Quentin Tarantino and the Mandingo movies that just say, oh, this is fictional and people got articles, bullshit. Those fights happened. They did. Tom Mellenew, the first official heavyweight champion of the world, a former African American slave, former slave. He was the first American champion during the old days of pugilism. And he used those styles. That style, particularly. I'm sorry. He fought in the Mandingo fights. And there's actually documentation of the Mandingo fights that have been found recently by a lot of people who looked into bare knuckle boxing. So, I had to do my research more into that. I'm like, wait a minute. The barbaric. I'm going to get into that a bit later on too. But the brutality in the fighting style, I'm like, wait a minute. This resembles Resi. Resi is a combat style of fighting that is from Ethiopia. And when I talk to, this African group I'm a part of, because I got tired of this knocking and kicking wave, the capoeira wave. We get it. Eddie Gordo made it popular. My man Lateef Crowder put capoeira on the map. Cool. And when it comes to the United States, during the slave trade and all that, it became known as knocking and kicking. I get it. And some people even, theorize that 52 Blocks came from that. We get it. One problem. That ain't the only goddamn style during the slave times and still practiced in secrecy today that the African Americans created and our African forefathers that were enslaved created when they brought their arts with them here to the Americas, especially here to the United States. Now, I talked about the movie Mandingo where Ken Norton and that one guy fought in the Mandingo fight. You know what I'm saying? And I mentioned many different arts. Now, everybody had gotten on me because they said, no, this is rooted in this and this and that, right? So then I remember watching the video of, I hate YouTube ads, the video of my man Diallo Frazier. Diallo Frazier was breaking down ghetto boxing. And I was like, here we go. Yes, right. Another, because, 52, pugilist, the African Americans form of pugilism, right, is rooted in so many things, and it also has its different regions of the United States has different names. Now, when we got into the head fighting, he said we were going to get into the head fighting, or Rissy. I said, hold up, Rissy? I just told the dudes that, and this man is a historian and expert of these arts. The African Americans created arts. And I hit it right on the money. I said I knew Rissy was part of that. And in the studying of it, discovered more about the East African slave trade that is not spoken about. Now, this art, I've been studying since I was 21. Self-taught, research as much as I could. I go to the 6 Male Self-Improvement Summit with, hosted by C Boogie, the other gentleman, Ron Wills, and Cousin T-Tall. Shout out to y'all, four brothers, man. Shout out. Because y'all helped change my life. And I went down there a few days early. So I stayed at the hotel, the Comfort Inn. And I wasn't far from Little Ethiopia. Now, when I started walking around, I was like, oh, man, I love Ethiopian arts. I love their culture. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow. Hopefully they'll accept me, right? I can speak a little Amharic, but I need practice. I just bought a book recently since I got back too, so let's do it. But I went to Little Ethiopia, went in the Abasha market. Everybody, when I would speak a little Amharic, they would laugh. Now, you probably heard this story, me a couple times, especially if you watched my Dane Calloway video when I jumped on his ass. I would ask, what was so funny when I started speaking English, everybody's like, we thought you were Ethiopian. Abasha. Wait, what? You look Abasha. You even walk Abasha. You even sound Abasha. Whoa. And we all just had, like I said, we had certain talks. I've gotten into detail about this before. I'm just reasoning so I can get to Ethiopia. Go back, to the hotel, doing my studies during that time before the Male Self-Improvement Summit that Saturday. This was back in November, by the way. The first week in November 2021. I'm learning more and more and more about the East African slave trade. How people from Ethiopia and all that were being taken over to, Asia and all that. Then later on, started coming in this direction. So then I decided, you know what? I wanted to do a little self-taught knowledge that I have. And from what I've been doing research, I've been talking to my Ethiopian brothers. I want to go and learn the arts and talk to them about the arts and the culture and the history that African Americans had with Ethiopia, especially modern Ethiopia during the Second Ethiopian-Italian War. But talked to this one brother from Ethiopia. He was proud for what I was doing. He asked me to go to Ethiopia, but avoid Lalibela, the region he's from, the Tigray region, because that's where the war was going on at the time, the TPLF. I said, okay. And it's so cool how November, December, January, February, 3 months later, I was on that plane, Ethiopian Airlines, headed to Addis Ababa. Plane ride was pretty cool, man. Actually, at one point, right before we got to Addis, right? Side note, it was really dark, but we were starting to get lower because we were almost towards Ethiopia. We got there around like 7 in the morning. But when it was still like 4 o'clock-ish, 5 o'clock-ish, right? 13-hour flight to get there. I looked out the window. Even though I could see clouds in the night, I could actually see the clouds. But I swear to God, we were flying over Kush. I swear I saw the Nile. I'm not lying to y'all. In the dark, I swear from all that high, I could see the Nile. Blew my fucking mind. I said, We're flying over the pyramids. I can't see the pyramids, but I see the Nile. So I know that's where we at. Yo. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. So we get the Addis. It's just beautiful. It is very beautiful. Ah, man. I was in Bole, though. And any Ethiopian will tell you this. Because when I came back home, I told them I was in Bole. They all did the same exact thing. They were like, oh. Bole's famous for sticky fingers. And it happened to me. They famous for scams. Happen. To overprice because, Americans have money. So you got to be careful, guys. They pull a thing called, hey, remember me from the hotel. Now, it happened to me first because the guy that talked to me looked like one of the hotel employees. I was like, oh, thought it was him. Turns out it wasn't. It's all good. Now, second day. Trying to still get to know things. Went on a date with my little lovely. And, she's breaking it down to me. This is the girl I was dating at the time. It didn't work out, but it's alright. I got a new girl. And 3 more in case she don't work out. Which I think we gonna work out. Because she's really sweetheart. But I'll explain that in a minute. But, we were walking to get something to eat. And she had just had her phone stolen like 3 weeks prior. Right out of her purse. Now, they walk up on us. And, touching. Like, hey, trying to get her attention. And that's the trick, guys. Because she taught me and everybody else taught me. Walk. Ignore them. I'm their brother. But I was raised across the pond. Y'all know how we get down here. If you walk up on us, touching our woman, and trying to mess with us on a date, we gonna try to swing automatically. Or we gonna be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And that's what she was afraid of, cause she was a foreign exchange student at one point. Me and her were the same age. So they didn't know. Everybody, like I said, everybody's like really terrified a little bit about how Bole goes down, cause it's really just pickpocketing. But I said, if this is the best you can do, don't ever commit a crime in America. Don't ever come to America and commit crimes. You are not going to last. You'll wish the police got to you. But, we all know that. They don't. But, she pushed me along like, let's just go. Because when they had touched me, I was like, yo, get off me. But then they touched her. You already know what it is. But in the process, in the process of doing that, they swiped my phone. She's upset, and people I made friends with later on, they got upset. They were furious. Trust me, every Ethiopian I've made friends with were furious about that. I was the only one that wasn't mad. Because how you going to use my phone? You don't know my name, you don't have my information. As soon as you do something stupid, my company's going to call me. If they can't get in touch, what'd you expect? You know what I'm saying? So, I wasn't mad. I was like, I get back home, I just get a new one. So we went and just got me a temporary new phone. And even the people at the Ethiopian cell phone place that I went to the next day to get a SIM card, they were willing to give me a nice, decent price. By the way, the one lady that was there, she wanted to take me to dinner. I was like, oh, I would love to. She was pretty too. Beautiful. She's thick, curvy, chocolate. Side note. Anybody that watches this video that is complaining about colorism, sisters, and I'm saying this to you, chocolate sisters, I am sorry. Shut the fuck up about colorism. Shut up. Okay? This new girl I'm talking to, she says she's light, but I'm gonna tell you a little cute story. When she showed me a regular picture, she was almost my complexion. Kinky hair. Outgrown. Beautiful. The other girl that I was dating when I was in Ethiopia, she showed me pictures of her like my complexion. When we met in person, she was black. Black. Chocolate. And just her chocolate alone made a lot of you dark-skinned sisters here that complain about colorism look white. Yeah, I said it. And they love black men. So a lot of you dark-skinned sisters complaining about colorism over here, you're full of shit. Shut up. You want black men, okay, then why is it when I go over to Ethiopia, I'm talking about I seen sisters with that long kinky hair, literally outgrown, straight, whatever you want to call it. I mean, out. Damn near as black as my PS4 controller. I'm talking jet black. And a lot of them was nice. And like I said, I was dating a girl, but a lot of them was flirty. And she was just, I swear to God, she had pictures looking brown skin, darker than me a little bit. But when I got there, she was black. So I don't want to hear no more colorism bullshit. If you do, I'm going to cuss you the fuck out. Alright? Alright? Cool. But anyway, that's another thing. Most people think that when you see the pictures of the Abisha, right? You see all that light skin stuff, and, you know, that's all Ethiopians. Everybody walking around look like they could be everybody's brother. That's one. Number two, do not call them mixed. They've never been mixed with no ethnicity. They've always looked like that, whether they're light or my complexion or jet black. Okay? If you say that, they're going to cuss you out. Because there's a lot of misinformation about Ethiopia. Because they've never been beaten in battle. That's why. And everybody tries to lie on their history, and they can't stand when people lie. There are dudes that are writing articles, and I'm going to say this to you dudes out there too, you dating dudes. They are not mixed with Arabs. They'll even tell you their story. Oh, little Arabs that came in just with their sheiks just to talk about Islam. There's no way in hell they all spread and mated with all of us and made these beautiful race and everything. I was there. I've even had conversations with my Ethiopian brothers and sisters about it. They got annoyed instantly, but they were happy that I already knew that was bullshit. Okay? You will see Ethiopians that look like that. And I'm going to tell y'all, this whole, they got straight, beautiful hair, they hate your mama. That's not what their hair is naturally. Their hair is naturally sometimes kinkier than African Americans' hairs. Yeah, all that outgrown hair, kinkier than your black asses. And then there was these two sisters I seen that was chocolate. And you could tell they was from the Omo Valley. Damn. They would love them some black men. I'm sorry, sisters. I'm serious. Knock it off. Sisters here, I love y'all, but y'all need to knock that off. Knock that colorism off. Us black men love our black sisters. In Ethiopia, whew. But anyway. But yeah, and I walked around, and I was wondering why nobody was speaking. And I would say salam, big smile. And I'm like, what's going on? And then when I finally started making friends, people was like, bro, you do realize where you are, right? I'm in Ethiopia. Oh, yeah. You're in Africa. You look like everybody else. So they're just going to say, huh? And then keep it pushing. Oh. But yeah. But here's also cool things, man. I got to go to the, I got to go to Yad Abyssinia, but I didn't go when it was party time. I went during a Sunday, my last Sunday there, nice and quiet. Most times in Ethiopia, because Christianity is a national holiday, and Christians and Muslims get along because they find sanctuary in Ethiopia. but they get along beautifully. But because Christianity was made a national holiday by Izana, King Izana, in the old days, the ancient days of the kingdom of Aksum. And yes, if you're wondering, my name Izana, that's who I'm named after. That's the name I chose. Actually, my whole Ethiopian name that I picked is Izana Arma Haile Menelik Kasa. That's my entire Ethiopian name that I gave myself. And every Ethiopian loves it. They love it. Especially my new girl. But here's the thing. I visited good places. I visited Kazanchis. Kazanchis is much nicer. I will give you that. The weather is beautiful. I was surprised that when in the morning times, like when it's dark, it would be like 55 degrees. I was like, oh, it's cold out here. But 2 hours after the sun comes up, hot. It's already 80. But oh man, injera bread, food on injera bread out there. The food is natural. Ooh, so if you've been eating junk food like crazy, you all will be going to the bathroom. I only went to the bathroom like a few times, but it didn't last. Because most of the time I eat vegan food anyway, along with my big brother. You know what I'm saying? And since moving in with him, it's easier to eat vegan food. We both cook vegan dishes. I learned how to make vegan meatloaf, but we'll get to that another time. So the food's very delicious. They will feed you. You will be fed. Shoot, my food I got from Yada Bassini, I had to take the rest of it back to the hotel because that's how much it was left, and that was only for a single person. Lord forbid you get like a whole group. Plus, right now during March and April, it's fasting season out there too. So they're not really eating meat. They're eating like veggies and veggie dishes, veggie methods of fasting when they eat for the next 2 months. When I went to Yada Bassinia, because King Izana made Christianity a national holiday, most people don't work on Sundays. Alright? So I went when it was quiet, which is good. The inside of it was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need some peace and quiet. But yeah, the next time I go, which will be in the next couple months, because I'm going to see my honey, I'm going to make sure that I take her on her birthday. We're going to go to Yada Bassinia. Or Habasha 2000. Habasha 2000 is a little further. Both are in Bole. Okay? They have nice, beautiful clothing. I got this on my way home. You know, traditional Ethiopian scarf. I can wrap it around my head. I can wrap it on my head, or I can wrap it around my waist. And I bought this there as well. I got 4 of them. One for me, my brother, my pop, and my cousin Tony. This is the Roaring Lion of Judah. This actually also represents King Haile Selassie, the last king of Ethiopia. Excuse me, emperor. What else? You also gotta be careful too, because sometimes things are like very pricey there. Just because inflation's all over the world, you know, you thank COVID for that. But $1 in America is like 50 Ethiopian, what they call birr. And they mostly walk around with cash. But yeah, they got some nightclubs there that's around. Everybody is mostly everybody is friendly. And I went to the Mehelelem church too. When I went to visit Kazanchis, this is like a 30-minute walk if you decide to walk. From the Yobor Hotel where I was staying, it's like a 30-minute walk from there. I went to visit the Ottawa Day Parade, March 2nd, which is March 2nd, 1896, which I got that at the parade. Baba King Menelik II and his wife up there, Empress Tatu. Hold on, we in my room. at the top, that's Queen Goody. That's Emperor Tewodros II. Now there's Menelik, and there's his wife. She don't play. That's Empress Taitu, baby. Now if you wonder who that is, that's Memnon, King of Ethiopia. Then there's King Haile Selassie, and then of course that's King Azana. Alright? But King Menelik II and Empress Taitu, yeah, kept that independent. They defeated the Italians on March 2nd, 1896. And they had the celebration of Agua Day. Now, if you go on my channel and you see the short where you see me there, it says Agua Day. That's what that day was about. The first Ethiopian-Italian war. King Menelik and his wife Queen Empress Taitu, they defeated the Italians. That's another place. Now, my man's Grendel. this I forgot to me and him was just chopping up, and this inspired me to do this video. He's gonna like this. My man 151, True Science 151, swindled Grendel, all y'all facts fiction. If you got to this part of the video, moment of truth. Sorry, I like AMS. I ain't with that alpha male shit, but AMS is a cool dude. So a few minutes ago, Grendel asked me about Moors and stuff like that. So everybody, here's your answer. There are no Ethiopians that know of any Moors. Okay? When Sabir Bey and Moorish Brooklyn intelligence tried to debate Sarah Seti, they will always pull this stunt, talking about, I will get on the phone and call somebody from, which he called Abyssinia. Now, here's the thing. Sabir's stupid. I can pull his card anytime I feel like it. Why? Because I was in Ethiopia. He keeps saying before there was Ethiopia, it was called Abyssinia. I don't know if you took classical Greek, and they also say that Ethiopia, because of Noble Drew Ali, means demarcation line. I don't know if you fools took a classical Greek or anything. Ethiopia, in its classical Greek word, does not mean demarcation line. It means burnt face. And Ethiopia means land of the burnt faces. And Abyssinia comes from the word Abisha. Abishat. Habeshat. Which in the ancient, they say it's dead, but I don't believe so. It's the Ge'ez language. Of ancient Kush. I mean, yeah, Kush, which was Ethiopia. And do you know what Abyssinia, Abashat? No, hold on. Abasat means, or Abisha, does not mean mixed like people keep saying. It means, in the Ge'ez language, Ethiopian. And when you say Abyssinia, in the Ge'ez language, you're saying Ethiopia. Dumbass. Boy, I tell you. Anyway. But yeah. So let me give you guys a brief history. For black people that is listening, we call ourselves ancient Kushites, yes. But who gave birth to the ancient Kushites would be the Puntites, Ethiopians. Why? I also went to the museum. See, these guys always talk about how, the Moors always talk about how they went to museums in Mexico and this and place and that place. Bullshit. They never show pictures or proof or nothing. And every time they do go to Africa, they always just go to Morocco. They mostly go to Spain, Germany, everything. I went there. I went to Ethiopia, where Sabir Bey calls Abyssinia. It's Punt, you idiot. If you want to go by its ancient name, it's Punt. Or Tadanature, land of the gods, land of God, or land of the ancestors. And it's true, because also, you listening, my pretties? That's where the bones of the oldest people in the world were found. Dumbass. Okay? I saw, which I was shocked. I didn't know I would see her there. I saw the little girl there. I forget her name. She's the oldest bones. Staying at 7.8 to 8 million years old. Now, I didn't take pictures with her, but I took pictures with Lucy, reconstructed, and Ari, I think, reconstructed. Lucy, which y'all love to confuse with the Brazilian Lucy. There's no such thing as a Brazilian Lucy. Her name is Luzia. Luzia is only 500 some odd years old. The real Lucy is from Haradar, Ethiopia. She's 3.5 to 3.8 million years old. Then you have Ari, which the Ari people are named after, down in the Omo Valley. Ari is 4.4 to 4.5 million years old. And when they traced their bones back, they went as far, not far. When they went to trace their bones back to where the roots were where exactly they found them, in Harar, Ethiopia. Also, they had Omo's pictures there. Omo is 130-something thousand years old. First black man. And they actually, now you will see his picture, his digital picture, when you go to the downstairs part. Walking around. First, you start at the bottom. Kind of like how at the Smithsonian Museum, when you go to the African American Museum in D.C., when you start the tour, you start from the bottom, from the slave trade to the slave ships, and then you go up to today. That's kind of how the Ethiopian Museum is as well. You go from the bottom, from the roots of everything, and you go up to today. And Omo's picture was shown. Now, now I'm gonna do a video on this because I need y'all to stop this shit. CNN only, and Ashra Kwesi talked about this. CNN only showed one time the true genetic DNA of Omo and the oldest woman, Ari. They did not come out looking like Homo sapiens. They came out looking like me and looking like a black woman. Now the trick is they saw the teeth of Ari sharpened, and they said she's a Homo sapien. And they drew pictures. They even put it in the museum and everything. I got pissed because that's not why her teeth look like that. Her teeth look like that because it is a tradition that is passed on from the Afar women. The Afar tribe women, they sharpen their teeth. And that was even passed on into the Azande warriors in the Congo, Sudan, and little parts of Ethiopia. The Azande men took that trait on and used it to be called cannibals, which they were nicknamed Nyam Nyam. Although in battle, people were thinking they were eating people because they had blood on their face and the sharpened teeth. Although in reality, the blood and all that was coming from killing their enemies with the Makriga multi-spiked spear. But that's a topic for discussion another time. But what was that one? Oh yeah. Yeah, you will find Omo's picture down there, which the Valley Omo is named after him. Everybody's being rooted. These are the oldest bones in the world. They're all being found and traced to Ethiopia. All black people. They're not traced and rooted to no Americas. Sabir, Canaan land, Taj. Stop fucking lying. What's that other one? Sheldon L. Moore's Brooklyn Intelligence. Cut the bullshit. Alright? Y'all need to cut that mess out. And also, listen, the Fez, as y'all seen in my videos, the Fez was Turkish, but other European people adopted it. You even had Turkish Egypt that had wars with Ethiopia, which the Ethiopians kicked their asses too. I hate to break the news to you, that is not a Moorish garb. It is a Turkish garb. And when black people wore it, they were slaves and soldiers. They were called the Askari. And they always had rivalries with Ethiopia, because Ethiopia would always kick their teeth in. And then you had the Italians invading. They separated Eritrea, which is why it's called Eritrea. They named it after the Erythraean Sea, which was the Indian Ocean into the Red Sea. Yes, there in the Bible, that is not the Red Sea. That is a lie. It's actually called the Eritrean Sea, or Erythraean Sea. Okay? And they used that name. They changed the Erythraean Ocean to the Indian Ocean, and then the Erythraean Sea to the Red Sea, and used the name and called it Eritrea. As well as when they got to Somalia, they separated that too, along with the Muslims. And their soldiers became Askari. They put the Fez on those people. And also, when I asked Ethiopians about this, because I've talked about our DNA as well, but I'll get to that in a second. I've asked Ethiopians when I was there, my good man, Armunu, I think his name was, I would ask him questions about the Moors. And he said, are you talking about the Moran tribe? I said, no, not the Moran tribe in the Omo Valley. And he said, Moors. Yeah, they wear, they, Moors, they, black people, ancient times. I don't believe it, bro, but have you ever heard of that? And he goes, no. Now, before y'all tell us lie, Moors, Ethiopia was never conquered. In fact, since you want to put a Fez on, they would kick your ass. They kicked your ass. Since you want to call yourself Moors and you fought with those Fezes on, they kicked your asses every time. Do you smell what? Hold on, where my glasses at? Yeah, the people's eyebrow on your punk asses. Let me stop. But yeah, I've asked many Ethiopian friends I've come in contact with, made friends with. We talked history of Ethiopia. They've never heard of Moors. When I mentioned the Fez, they said that's the Askari. They fought on the side of the Italians and other invaders, including Turkish Egypt, even the British, which they don't like to talk about. British got their asses kicked too by Ethiopians. They just stop at, after the defeat of, after Kasa Hailu, aka Tewodros II, committed suicide, they got their people out, and then they just left. No, actually they came back invading some more, and the Ethiopians let loose some rage for the death of Tewodros, even though he committed suicide. And the British had to back up. Alright? But yeah, I said, y'all know about the Moran tribe. He says they don't call them Moors. Because the Moors will try to use that to their advantage. The Moran tribe. See, they are Moors. Go away. Got colleges calling me. But yeah, they talk about the Moran tribe. They'll try to use like because he mentioned the Moran tribe. See, Moors. No, they don't know what a Moor. They never even heard of Moors. It's nowhere in their ancient books. And that's another thing. Because my brother pulled this shit on me, but because listen, when I got back from Ethiopia, he is no longer talking Moorish around me. He's saying talk about Africa, this Africa, Africa. We like Gundam, so we like try to make our own stories. He's talking about make a whole space colony in Africa. I'm like, wait a minute, where did all that indigenous shit we're indigenous to America go? He once told me a story talking about the Ethiopians and everybody when he was there in the Marines showed him that they're not the same people, and they're this, they're that. We're not black, we're this and everything. No, he knows he's changed up because he knows when I got the second I got to Ethiopia, their stories were done. And that's another thing. Every Ethiopian that I've met is like, oh, welcome home, brother. Welcome home. I even talked to them about this Native American BS with black indigenous. So many Moors, so many Moors tried to say that they are this and that, and they don't know that Ethiopians don't know the history, the true history, and if they knew the truth, they'd understand. So many of them looked at me like, what the fuck? So many Ethiopians were like, what the hell are they talking? What? Believe me, Ethiopians are Christians, right? And they believe the Bible. But even they go, first of all, we don't follow the same Bible. Second, our history with the Bible is the Solomonic line of lineage for the kingdom, like Haile Selassie, where them came from. Third, it starts at Solomon. The rest of our bloodline does not come from no Saba or from, the Israel. No, we came from Punt, where we're at now, Ethiopia. That's what they said. That's what they will tell you. Like I said, don't call them mixed because they're going to argue that, so many little Arabs came over here and mixed with so many, we created these beautiful. They've always looked like that. And light skin is not the majority. Majority is, like I said, burnt. Thus the name Ethiopia by the Greeks. Burnt skin, burnt face. The land of the blacks, basically. But, they don't know what, they looked at me like, bro, it's a good thing you came home because we don't know what the hell they're talking about. We've never even heard of that. They've never been conquered, so how the hell would they know about it? People taught me about the African Americans' involvement in the Ethiopian War, the Second Italian-Ethiopian War. I said, I know about John Robinson, creating the Air Force and leading the Air Force under Haile Selassie against the Italian Air Force. You know what I'm saying? I wish they could have got over there more, but the U.S. stopped us. I had Ethiopians before I even got there telling me in the YouTube comment sections, hold up, bro, let me tell you something. They're trying to change our history, but it's not true. It's not going to happen, and here's the truth about that. You guys came over here in armies. The U.S. stopped you when they found out how much African Americans were going over there. But then they started sending Italian Americans over there. They stopped you, but sent Italian Americans over there. They had to teach me that. That we got so much history with Ethiopia before I even got there. And when I was there talking it over with the Ethiopians, they were like, yeah, you guys came over here in armies. You guys we were fighting. Yeah, they don't know anything about no Moors. Nothing. They were too busy, because if you're going to claim that the Ascaris were Moors, well, they were too busy fighting the Moors then. But they don't know them as the Moors. They know them as what they really are, the Askari. The Moors were long gone by the time these wars kicked off. By the time the Ethiopians first saw any black man with a fez on his head or anybody with a fez, the Moors were long fucking gone. And I got the pictures to prove it. Especially with the museum pictures. I got pictures to prove it. I was at the museum. And I was telling my brothers and them, because in Addis Ababa, Taekwondo is taking over. But I was telling them, I even have a book where Baba Dennis Newsom shows the techniques of Resi under its name Ray F-E-R-D-S-E. And I know some basics. I was showing them basics. Some were like, oh, wow. There were others also that knew it, that not the art, but they knew of the art. And they were impressed, happy. And they were shocked to learn, those that do know about American history, they were shocked to learn that their art was actually it's one of the foundations of cutting or mandingo fighting. That was where the other West African arts was fused into it. Now here's the thing too, also. Not only did they start coming to the Americas, but the whole story of we were marched across the Sahara and people never knew where that came from. Being in Ethiopia, I found out. Did more research into the slave trade in Ethiopia. They would march people from the Omo Valley, the Arabs, and the Christians when they started to disobey Muhammad, who told them, do not do that in Africa, because they gave us sanctuary. And then the other Christians, they gave us sanctuary. Don't do the slave trade shit. But the jihads and the slavers disobeyed. They were taking Ethiopians from the Omo Valley, the Oromia, the Amhar regions. They were marching them up into what we call the Lalibela region, the Tigray region, and into now what is now separated, which used to be part of Ethiopia, but now it's separated into Eritrea, and shipping them either into Asia, to the East African slave trade, and what you don't talk about, which we know. Ship them across the Sahara to West Africa, where they would go through the port of no return in Ghana, and ended up in the slave ships. Those Ethiopians that were mixed in with the other Africans that stayed in Brazil, you was known as an Angola. I forget what you were called in the Caribbeans and in Mexico, but when you got to the U.S., didn't matter. You was a Mandingo. And that's where the term Mandingo fighting comes from. It's West African arts that were brought over here during the slave trade were dominant and prevalent in the art of Mandingo / cutting. But the basis and the brutality, gouging, head-butting, biting, kicking and punching, snapping bones and doing gruesome, that came from the Ethiopian art, Resi, from the slaves that brought that there, as well as Tigel wrestling, Nuba wrestling, because as I've explained in my DNA video, African Americans' DNA is 71% Niger Kordofanian. The Kordofan is in the Sudan. Once upon a time, the Sudan was not the Sudan. It was part of modern-day Ethiopia, as was Djibouti, Somali, and Eritrea. And then before the Persians and the Assyrians, Egypt. All was part of Ethiopia. And there's another thing, too, I just discovered. The term barbarian, actually does not refer to white people. It actually refers to, originally, the east coast of Africa. Punt, all that, were the original barbarians. So, I'll do a video on that later, but, yeah. But, would I recommend definitely African Americans returning to Ethiopia? Yes. Because that's where our roots are. First experience of Ethiopia, I give it my first experience. Going home, I give it a 7 out of 10. Because bullshit happened when I first got there, but I made the best of it. Now, when I go again later on this year, around September, I'm gonna make sure this time I get to do what I want to do. Although I want to go to the Omo Valley, I'm not gonna have enough time. That's okay. But what I'm going to do is, go more to the clubs this time. Me and my girl, we're gonna go and have a ball. A lot of loving. What I'm saying? But yeah, now try to learn more and more and more about our ancient history in Ethiopia, and then the current history before stupidity came around of the unity of Ethiopia and African Americans, because they want us to come home. And yeah, so that's pretty much my visit to Ethiopia. So yeah, I'm gonna be jumping on the Moors a lot more, because I've been seeing they be throwing sneak disses at Ethiopia. They've been lying on Ethiopia, and I ain't gonna take too much more of that shit. But yo, that was my trip to Ethiopia. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace. Or as I say in Swahili, Kwaheri. Go well.